Hello, I'm Richard with EV4U Custom Conversions. And in this week's episode, we're going to talk about a little project that we're working on the Karmann Ghia. And one of the things that we've mentioned in the past is that we live in a hot climate and we live in hilly terrain. And with the Curtis 1231C controller, when it reaches, I believe it's 85C, it goes into thermal cutback. And on occasion, in the summertime here when it's over 100 degrees, and we're running down the freeway at 70 plus, and pulling grades, it's up and down, no real long grades. But anyway, the controller will get to a point where it will go into thermal cutback on occasion, typically right before I get back to the shop, the last mile or so sometimes. And so, all winter long, not an issue. I can run 45 miles down the freeway and not have a problem. Running 20-25 miles on the freeway in the summertime can sometimes lead to an issue. And so this year we're going to try a little something different. We've tried different air cooling methods to capture more air in the engine bay, the engine compartment of the Karmann Ghia, but it just hasn't been as successful as we'd like. So we're going to have to go with liquid cooling. Now, one alternative is to go to a liquid cooled controller, such as the Fnetics or the NetGain that we've talked about in the past. But we thought we'd do this because there are a lot of people out there with the Curtis controller, and we've done numerous of the conversions with the Curtis controller, and so we thought we'd address this issue. And we're going to try to do this for under $300. So what we're going to do is we're going to, using this setup that's currently in the vehicle, we're going to add to it without relocating or changing any of the mounts of anything that's currently in the vehicle. Now, whether or not we can pull that off, I'm not sure yet. We won't know until we remove the heat sink and see exactly what's behind it. I can't remember if there was like a little rib or something behind it or not. But anyway, we always set the heat sink and component mount. We use one piece of aluminum as a heat sink and as a component mount for other components on our VW setups. And we offset that from the firewall. I forget how long the little set offsets are, but anyway, an inch or so. Anyway, so hopefully have room behind that heatsink to put a chill plate, and then the chill plate will be run to a radiator to dissipate the heat. So this is what we're going to have. We're going to add 4 basic components. We're going to have a reservoir, a pump, our chill plate, and a radiator with some fans. And so ideally we want the reservoir to be at the highest point in the system. My drawing here is not to scale, of course, and nor is it accurate as far as elevation. But anyway, so the coolant path would be from our reservoir through our pump. So this would be at the highest point in the system, and the pump should be the lowest point in the system. So it's going to gravity feed to the pump, so it's always going to be primed. From there it's going to go to our chill plate. Our chill plate is going to absorb heat from the back of our heatsink and the back side of the controller. That then the hotter coolant will come through our radiator, and it's going to have hopefully a location where we'll catch some airflow. So the fans will only really be used when you're sitting still. The rest of the time we'll have airflow due to the motion of the vehicle. Then from the radiator back to our reservoir. So let me show you what the individual components look like. This is the reservoir we're going to use, and I'll show you where we're going to mount that, or where we plan on mounting it. Sometimes when you really get into the thick of things, you find that things don't go exactly the way you planned it. But this is going to be the reservoir that we'll use. So that's that part of the system. This will be the pump that we use. And like I said, this will be at the lowest point in the system. The reservoir, we got one that looks kind of nice because this is actually going to be in the engine compartment where it'll be seen. And this will be contrast against our black ABS interior. On the other hand, the pump is going to be mounted down underneath. It's not going to be seen. Here is the key component in all of this. This is our chill plate. This has copper tubing, and it's about a good 1/16 inch thick wall, copper tubing. And this copper tubing is in this piece of aluminum. Here's an end view of it for you. And so this is going to be the mating surface. So our copper tubing is actually going to be mated right up against our existing heatsink. And this is sized. This is the back portion of the Curtis. This is that footprint. So your bolts actually will miss this. Haven't determined how we're going to fasten this yet. Whether we'll, tap the heatsink and go into there or what, I don't know yet. That's still in the planning stages. So anyway, this will mount right up against the heatsink, and that will, collect as much heat as we possibly can, mating our new system with our existing system. Then after it flows out of here, that being this, it's going to go to our radiator. This is our little radiator that we're going to use for this. We use different size ones. We have a larger one that we're using on the Curtis, what is it, 1276. That's going to be used in conjunction with the AC75. It's a third again this size. But this is what we're going to use on this. Like I said, we're just marginal on the heat. I figure we'll be able to remove enough heat from this system that it's going to run without any issue. We're marginal right now, and so adding this is going to put us on the right side of the line. So that's kind of the big picture of what we're going to do with the Karmann Ghia. Let's go take a look at the car real quick, kind of remind you of what the setup looks like, and so you can kind of see things better as far as the big picture. Okay, here's the back end of the Karmann Ghia. The shop door faces the west, so the sun is low in the sky, so it's really coming in right now. But with the door down, it's a little dark. So anyway, this is the area behind the heat sink there. So behind our heat sink is where we'll have our chill plate. Its size, it's the same length as the Curtis, and it's the same width as the base of the Curtis. And so we're going to put our reservoir in this neighborhood right here and route all the hoses and so forth. Most of them out of sight. We'll probably leave one or so, just a clear one so you can see it, just because I like showing some of the works, but we're not going to show all of the works. And then the pump and the radiator will be underneath, up in the transaxle area. So anyway, they'll be protected, not in an area where they can be damaged by road hazards. But you can see we intentionally left a spot for doing this, because this was not our first project by any means. So we've been planning on doing this for some time, and we're hopefully going to get to it before the end of June. This will be in the 1st of May. But this vehicle has plans to be at Laguna Seca, and so we will be pushing her hard, and so want to have the extra cooling at that point. Even though it is typically cooler at Laguna Seca, it can get kind of warm at the end of June. So let's go talk about something else. In a previous video, we've discussed another one of our projects, the 1991 Volkswagen double cab transporter. And that conversion is going to feature the AC75, and it's going to have 38 of the CALB 180 cells. So anyway, we ordered the AC75 from EVTV, and we mentioned that on an earlier video also. And with the AC75 package that they offer, it comes with a chill plate and a few other things. Well, we received the order, and we received it in a timely fashion and everything. And when I received the chill plate, when I had looked into this and had ordered it, I just seemed to me that it, had come with a gasket as well as fittings. Well, searched through the packing and everything, no gasket, no fittings. I thought, well, let me go online, check their website, check the description, and see if indeed it did come with that. So I double-checked that, and sure enough, it's supposed to have the fittings and the gasket. So I emailed Jack Rickard with EVTV and said, hey, got everything, looks good, appreciate the fast service, but you omitted those two items. Well, Jack responded by sending these things FedEx, and basically we had them overnight. This project is going to be a long-term project, and we're not in a big hurry for anything, but I think he felt bad that they had made a mistake, and which we all do, but he sure righted it in a hurry. So I got the O-ring, came, I guess at FedEx, and that's how that goes. And then they offer either barbed fittings or the A&N fittings, the Army-Navy fittings. And I said, I'd take the A&N, and so along with the gasket came the fittings. You sent the A&N and the barb. I mean, they wanted to make sure that there was no problems with my satisfaction. Like I said, over and beyond, they didn't need to be overnighted. Either one would have been fine. Not that big a deal. We're going to be doing some different things on this one anyway. But the big deal was the customer satisfaction that they are striving for. They made an easy mistake. I wish in my 38 years of business I could say I haven't made any mistakes, or none of my employees have made mistakes. But we all suffer from the human condition, and so we always are making mistakes. It's how we handle those mistakes and whether or not we make them right. And EVTV is definitely going out of their way to try and make a good impression and to make very satisfied customers. I'd like to show you a couple other things that we got from them. And well, we've all heard the expression, price is what you pay, value is what you get. EVTV probably doesn't have the cheapest prices, but they definitely give you good value. Ordered 38 of the CALB 180 cells. And with those, you get these braided interconnects. They're tinned copper interconnects, and you can get them sized for this orientation or for this orientation. The straps are probably the best that you can get. You're not going to do any better than that. He also includes a strap, a couple terminal lugs that are crimped on a braided nylon rope. 12.5 pounds a piece. If you were dropping that down in a hole somewhere, with a bunch of other cells tied around it, nice and handy to have. It's insulated and it's included. Also included are these Nordlock washers. See if you can get as good a picture as possible here. You can see what one looks like. These things grip like you can't believe. And that's important. You have a lot of temperature variation on a terminal, and so things are going to expand and contract, and things will loosen up. And you don't want a battery terminal loosening up. It will then cause resistance. Resistance causes heat, and then you're going to have problems. But anyway, these are all just the finest components that came with the cells. I can get these cheaper somewhere else, but I can't get all of this cheaper, and I can't get this level of service for less. What we receive from EVTV is value. And so they're a pleasure to do business with. He also includes this sanding block that allows you to clean the terminals, getting oxidation off, as well as on the strap. I mean, just above and beyond. But wait, there's more. He also includes some literature, and it's actually 11 plus pages, and talks about bottom balancing, cell position, battery strap sizing, talks about everything you need to know to properly use and care for your investment. So again, that's additional value. And that's why it's important to know who you're dealing with and not just order something because it's a good price. We're not the cheapest at EV4U, but it's the same thing. We put a lot of customer service behind our products and our customers. Customers typically call us before they buy something. They call us afterwards. Any questions. Sometimes it's not related, to anything they've purchased. They just have questions about the overall conversion. And they get that for free. And so we take care of those that are looking to get behind the wheel of an electric vehicle. That's what we're all about. But anyway, kind of back to EVTV. Today we got a package, UPS, and it was from EVTV, Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Well, wasn't expecting anything. And so asked around, nope, nobody ordered anything. So opened the box, and in the box there was a letter. And it says, Richard, EVTV here, this is Shannon. I'm responsible for the shipping and receiving department here at the shop. For a reason none other than I got in a hurry and didn't pay enough attention to the details on this shipment, I truly apologize. We strive for perfection and dedication at EVTV. Being said, we are sending you a chrome fire extinguisher, an EVTV coffee mug, and battery cell booty. Thank you for your time. We look forward to any efforts to please our customers. Anyway, this is what they sent. This is what he calls a battery booty. I don't think you can get this anywhere. I believe this is a Jack Rickard original. It's for protecting the connections. This fits over the top of your interconnects and acts as an insulating barrier. So it comes in rolls. I forget how long on the website it said you can get it in the rolls. So anyway, very nice of them. Very nice. Also sent coffee cup. I don't typically drink coffee at home or at the shop. Usually when I'm on the road though. And then I'm using somebody else's coffee cup. But I do drink green tea every day, and so I will be using that. Thank you very much. And then the other thing, the other item was this stainless, or this chrome fire extinguisher. And it's a, I don't know how many pound unit this is, but it's a class A, B, and C extinguisher, size 1, meets your marine certifications, everything. I mean, nice little extinguisher. And it looks nice if you have a car with a little bit of bling too. So totally not necessary, but that's kind of what makes it all that much more impressive. Their willingness to go above and beyond to make sure the customer is satisfied. So anyway, the chill plate and the cells are for the transporter project, and so we're continually getting parts in for that. We're shy a couple items. I don't think we've got the all of the power brake components in yet, or the power steering, or the heating. So we're missing some odds and ends in each of those subsystems. So as soon as we get all that together, we still have to do some brake inspection work, and then we're going to build the battery racks. That'll be coming up. We're going to do that before we pull the engine. Trying to find the glides that are the length and size that I want, so that we can run that pack in and out of the... So there will be actually 2 of those cells side by side, 19 deep, and so they're going to be on in a rack, and that rack will be on glides, a heavy duty ball bearing drawer glide setup, so that half of them be accessed from one side of the vehicle, and the other half of the cells will be accessed on the other, on one side or the other. That way they don't all come out one side and have all that weight hanging out of the vehicle. It also needs to be spaced up to clear this latching area, which puts us close. And so we're just going to be clearing a few of these places. It's going to be kind of tight, but there is room. We've done our measuring and everything. It's going to work. So that's one of the next things. We'll bring you updates on that. Like I said, we're kind of just been waiting on parts and doing a little shakedown on the vehicle. And the owner's had some ideas of different things he's wanting to do, and so he's actually talking about getting a new transaxle for it. So we're not in a hurry to do a whole lot at this point, waiting to see what's going to happen with the big picture. Here's the AC75. This is a good size motor. This thing, if I remember correctly, weighs like 180 pounds. So it's not much to look at, compared to, say, a Warp 9. But it's definitely going to do the job. This vehicle will be close to 4,000 pounds when all is said and done, and this is the baby that's going to make that thing rock and roll. And it's also going in an engine compartment that doesn't have a lot of viewing perspective, and so aesthetics isn't going to be a big deal on this one, but we are going to give you the walk through, a follow through, I guess, as we go through this project. You'll get to see every step of the way. So once the battery rack and the brakes and a few of those things, and whether or not he's putting a new transaxle in, once we know the kind of the bigger picture, we'll put together our exact game plan. Right now we're leaving the engine in for a while. But once we pull the engine, then we'll design and build our adapter and coupler for this. As always, we will retain the clutch, and we'll put new components in while we're there, so it'll have new clutch components. And so we'll keep you up to date. This is all that's happened so far on this project, and so stay with us. Okay, here's a shot of the Curtis controller. It's the 1238-7601, and it lists the voltage 72 to 96 volts, current 650 amps. Well, we know these are good up to 130 volts, and they shut off above that. So our setup is going to be set up so that we're going to have 38 cells times 3.3. It's 125 volts nominal. We're going to charge them to 3.5 volts a piece. So 3.5 times 38 is 133 volts. And so just a little above, but basically as soon as the charger comes off at rest, we should be right about 130 volts, 128.8, somewhere in there. Done this before. It works. That's the maximum we want to go, though. We don't want to exceed the 38 cells. Matter of fact, typically on our AC50 setups, we use 36 cells. Because this is a bigger vehicle and we had the room for the 38, we decided to go with the 38. So here's the chill plate, and here's the controller. And I'll just kind of center it here. And you can see from my perspective here, the holes all line up and they're threaded into the chill plate here, so this will be bolted to the chill plate. And how we're going to mount all this in the vehicle is yet to be determined. We have kind of a tight space and we have other things to put in there, so we'll see. But anyway, nice setup, and we'll walk through the entire process. This isn't going to be like some of the videos where we've shown little glimpses and then we'll show you when it's done, kind of thing. This we're going to drag you through, and by the time it's all said and done, you probably will never want to hear my voice again. But anyway, we hope it'll be interesting, that you'll enjoy seeing an AC setup going together, and the thought process of, you know, where things go and why. And so we're gonna bring you along for the entire process. So anyway, for EV4U, I'm Richard, and hopefully we'll talk to you next week. We're extremely busy right now and it's getting harder to do these videos, but we're going to keep them coming.